Good morning, Miss Allison Hulmes. Are you with us?
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining us on the Breakfast Show. We're discussing this issue about this smacking ban. So my colleague has some questions for you on this.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us this morning. So first, I wanted to ask about your organisation. What are the aims of the British Association of Social Workers before we get into the story?
So we are the largest professional association of registered social workers in the UK, and the aims of the British Association of Social Workers is to ensure that social workers have the best environment in which to practice ethical and good social work in the UK.
Right. So are you associated in any way with the government?
No.
Right. Okay.
We're completely independent of the government.
I see. So as an organisation, what are the views of your organisation, of course, in relation to the new bill?
Well, the new bill, just to be completely clear, is a bill that's only in Wales.
Right.
And we are completely supportive of the new bill. It's really important, again, to be clear that the bill isn't creating a new law, which will be a law against smacking. It's actually going to remove a defence. So the defence of reasonable punishment, which is currently available under common law. So it's about removing a defence and not creating a new law. And on the basis of ensuring that children have equal protection and equal human rights, we're completely supportive, of the removal of that defence.
Right. Do you have any statistics on how often this defence is being used right now?
Well, curiously, the police in Wales don't actually capture that data.
Right.
So as part of this process of having consultation around the bill, the Welsh Government has asked the police to try and extrapolate some of this data.
Right.
But what we do have is we know that in 2018 there were 2,960 children on the Child Protection Register in Wales, and of those children, 355 of them were on the Child Protection Register for physical abuse alone.
Right.
But also, amongst the other categories of abuse, physical abuse was present, amongst other categories. So there might have been neglect plus physical abuse.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, what would you say to the people who are opposed to this so-called ban, which of course is just getting rid of one defense of it, as you explained it to us? How would you reply to those who are saying that this is putting a loving smack, as they quoted, I'm quoting here, and assault and child abuse as the same? So they're putting it on the same level.
Yeah, I think the difficulty is, parenting is hard. We know that parenting is hard, but there can't ever be any consistent agreement about what a loving smack consists of.
Of course.
There is so much variation, and I think in Wales we have a long and proud tradition of supporting and promoting human rights. We were the first country to ensure that the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child was part of our domestic law.
Right.
And it underpins all of our policy and our approach to children, in Wales. And it's our view very strongly that there is no place for physical chastisement of children, that it is inconsistent with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and there is no evidence that promotes the view that physically punishing children equals positive, outcomes for children later in their life.
Right.
And there's also, there is no evidence base that it also promotes positive short-term changes to behaviour either.
Mm-hmm. So what other ways are there to punish a child if they do misbehave, which does not involve smacking, of course?
Yeah, and I think it's really important again that the law isn't saying that children mustn't be chastised by their parents. It's saying very clearly they mustn't be physically chastised. But a lot of support has gone into ensuring that parents in Wales, are able to access parenting support.
Right.
So it's about promoting positive behaviours, and I think that also starts pre-birth. So
Right.
it's about having those positive role models, within the family, within the wider community, but also ensuring that, Welsh Government is providing financial support to, initiatives. We have initiatives in Wales, such as Families First and Flying Start, so that we have support workers who work within families and communities to support, positive parenting.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yes,
sorry, go on.
No, going after you.
And again, positive parenting is very much about. Like I said, it starts about a mindset, and it starts about an approach pre-birth. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like I said, it's not. I really don't want to give the impression that anyone thinks that parenting is easy. Parenting isn't easy, and we've had 10 years of austerity. We've had support to parents. We've had early intervention and prevention support. That's been removed consistently over the last 10 years. So parenting is really tough. It's really tough, but there is no evidence base to support that physically chastising children makes parenting, any easier, and it does result in, poor outcomes for children.
Right.
Alison, what kind of defences are available for those parents who do smack their children in order to discipline them? Is the defence, the current defence that is being attempted to be removed, the only defence they put forward?
That's the only defence, yes, reasonable punishment. And of course, in order to make out that defence, first of all, someone has to make a complaint. So a complaint is either made to social services or to the police that a child has been, physically punished, physically assaulted, and then the police and the Crown Prosecution Service still have to make a decision on, whether or not the defence has been made out. So but
there is no defence then. If this bill goes through, there will be no defence. Smacking is effectively forbidden then, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
If this bill goes through, then there will be no defence. So the purpose of the bill is to completely remove that defence.
Right. So you will not be able to engage as far as this law. If it is passed, this bill is passed, there will be no way of disciplining a child through any physical punishment.
Not through any physical punishment. No. No, it will completely remove that defence.
Do you have many incidents of child smacking in the cases you deal with?
On the Child Protection Register, we do, yes. So, up until April 2018, which is the latest figures for us, there were a total number of 2,960 children on the Child Protection Register in Wales. Of those 2,960, 355 of them were on the Child Protection Register because of physical abuse only, but of the remaining number, physical abuse was also part of other categories of abuse as well. So there may have been physical abuse plus neglect or plus emotional and psychological abuse.
So isn't, when you say that there's no defence then for smacking, isn't that then going to validate the charge that child abuse is going to be equated with smacking, and that is unfair?
It will be, yes. So completely removing the defence will mean that if you smack a child, and also, again, when a complaint is made, the social worker that's receiving that complaint undertakes an assessment. They will undertake conversations with the police and other partners, and they make a decision on the context in which, so the level and the context. So it doesn't necessarily mean that a complaint will lead automatically to a child being placed on the Child Protection Register.
Mm-hmm. But some people, I mean, especially those people of an older generation would say that my parents gave me a clip around the ear, it didn't do me any harm, and they're very well adjusted, law-abiding individuals. What do you say to that kind of comment?
Again, and I'm of the generation that it's still frequently used as well. That sort of that comment, and there is no evidence base that smacking children is good for them.
Okay. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us on the Breakfast Show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.